be starting with a Misango.
Thanks, Ripha. I just talked up your ninja a whole lot, and you're gonna play Phoenix Megawatt.
This is
Berkshire
what I was
Misango.
talking about. He's got more tools under his belt now. Going to start off, we might be seeing some really high-level Misango play. This is a treat. You do not see this very often, especially in North America, where Misango...
Oh, go ahead.
Misango is basically an endangered species in North America.
It's very interesting to see Misango come out. I think one of the worst characters in the game, easily. I always put him at the first when I'm thinking about the game myself. I just don't think he has many of the tools to succeed, but maybe Ripha will prove me wrong here.
And what better place to start than Temple Grounds? As I always like to say, you get plus 10 stats to all stats because it's home grounds. Totally a thing that actually happens.
Home field advantage has always been a thing in arena fighters, even Smash.
Oh yes.
Yeah, right there, we see one of Misango's strongest forms. Some people like to say, Yellow Mask. With Rush.
Was not able to hold on to it.
It's the thing is, you can just force Misango to have to rush, or he loses the mask, and he has to choose between them. And if he would have rushed right there, Replicant wouldn't have got hit. I don't think this character is very good.
This character can be... He's an extremely complicated character to really learn and utilize well. I'm not sure how long... I can see him doing well and placing well in tournaments, but I think Misango still has a lot of work to go as a character on his own, of just labbing and fine-tuning before he becomes the threat that he can be.
Well, even if you lab this character and take him as far as you possibly can, I still don't think that, Red Mask is good, right? Blue Mask is good. Yellow Mask really isn't that good. Yellow Mask Misango is actually the worst character in the game, stats-wise.
Yeah, he loses speed, he loses his jump.
He loses girth, he loses grab damage. I think his camera doesn't work well either. I think his camera's just as bad as Master Mummy's. He's a hard time adjusting. So even if you have Rush with Yellow Mask, you just get to lose it. You get to throw it out in a place where your opponent can move around freely. And also, he's really bad at dealing with pressure. And I think that Replicant did here is pressure him just to the point that he couldn't get anything going with his character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what I see a lot of Misangos end up doing, especially, at least in the North American area, like once they get the Yellow Mask, a lot of them just feel pressure just to only go for grabs, where it's like, my grabs are safe enough, I'll just throw the shield up. There's a good chance that they're going to miss their rush. But once you get used to the concept of like, they've got their rush, they're probably going to try to bring it out some way or another, or they're abusing the fact that they have that ability now. Then you just kind of force it out, and you use... A lot of cases, you get a pretty safe shield, or you take the hit, but now a lot of the pressure, a lot of the potential that Misango has isn't there as much anymore.
Yeah, I think Yellow Mask is theoretically, like, on paper, it should be really strong. But because Yellow Mask becomes the worst character in the game as soon as you equip it, the rush gain that he gets per hit isn't that much of a threat, because you can bait his rush more than I think any other character. I mean, most Misangos, Tame Team includes one of this. They'll go for an ASCII grab where they'll jump air dash at you, grab, and then this little piece of hair is making me angry. Jump air dash at you, grab, and then react based on what you do to choose to rush. But if you hit them off the ground, while they're coming off the ground to jump, and they don't react to it, because most of them won't. Or if you put an explosion in their face while they're trying to jump, because also, in case you didn't know this, Yellow Mask doesn't protect from explosions. they just lose Yellow Mask and lose all their advantage, and they're back to being a mediocre character.
There's also the threat that if you're not careful with your rush, you go up, you go for the grab, your opponent calls that you're going to do that right away. So before you even have time to pop your rush, you start your grab, you get hit, and then you've lost all of that momentum.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to choose between going for a rush bait and canceling with rush immediately, and throwing away a lot of your pressure, or getting the grab and getting hit out of it and losing the mask and going back to neutral, where you have to work really hard to get that mask. That's what we saw last round. Is any time that Ripha had a mask, he lost almost instantly. Like the red mask at the beginning was really the only Ripha had mask for more than like
that is true.
2 seconds.
And that was a pretty sizable stage too, so generally the more defensive ones, those ones should be the ones that worked, and it didn't really work out too well.
Yeah, well, the thing, if you pressure him correctly, going to min-min, Ripha, play your mains, dog.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ripha has a pretty good min-min.
Yeah, that's a personal thing. I feel disrespected anytime that somebody plays a secondary. It's a Smash game, honestly.
Nah, I get you.
Secondaries in Smash are pretty disrespectful if you pull them out this far in bracket. And you're like, you could very easily beat somebody with, not saying that Replicant would easily lose to Gara, but Replicant's a very strong player, but it's just like, play your main. Why, you're about to go into losers if you lose this round. You know, don't disrespect your opponent and throw away your chance to be on winner's side of Brands, because being on loser's side of Brands is one of the worst things you could do to yourself in tournament.
Yeah, but there is a thing to say about, in any fighting game, for a lot of players, especially if they're actually pretty comfortable or used to the idea of a lot of characters, like, there's a strong idea between just being able to adjust characters quickly. If you're comfortable enough to be able to do that, you can catch a lot of people off guard very easily, then that's a strategic advantage.
Also, according to chat, they like to switch things up a lot to see what they can get, to see and experiment things in bracket, because they don't get to play as often. We don't often get a chance to put things up like this and see how things work. So that makes sense. That perspective is a little new to me, so I didn't consider that.
So while this is a tournament, it's still in a lot of ways friendlies, where it's like, hey, we don't get to have these like cool events to do our matches with.
It's more like a proving ground. Like, Ripha wants to show people, so he wants to show off what he can do and prove, that these sets do work.
I've kind of done that with MLM before, where it's a lot of times where I'll just go in with Mechanica and I'll just nade, fun shock, whammer, and everything will explode. But there's other times where I'm like, I'll switch out to Twintel here, we'll see how it goes. And it doesn't go, and I'm like, oh, well, that was fun.
We'll see, this Scully Slapamander is putting a lot of pressure. Rep set is very good. It's almost Hanukkah Jamboree's Twintel set, actually. Just replaced Tribolt with Triblast, and that's exactly what Twintel set. But without Actrasora, Lola uses it very, very differently. So anytime you can put pressure on Lola while Rep is playing a set, he loses a lot of his ability to play neutral. Necessary shield a lot, which leaves him open to a lot of pokes and grab mix-ups. What we're seeing is a lot of really good pressure from Ripha with Slapamander and Scully here.
Oh, that's a stun, and that is going to be one more poke. Replicant taking Ripha down 2-0.
That one was a little heartbreaking. It wasn't for the fact that the pillar was in the way, which, I mean, Ripha should have counted for it, but if it wasn't for that, that shield would have potentially broken due to Slapamander. and Ripha would have had one more round in the tournament, in the winner side of the tournament.